But to answer your quick question, all the Seamoss coming from St. Lucia, it's all the Seamoss. What makes the colors different and how it forms is because of the way it's dried, right? It all no problem. Totally understand. So it's the purple is it comes from basically, well, here, let me start by this from the beginning, and this makes sense. When you harvest the sea moss out of the ocean, they are two major or main colors that comes out of it. And out of those two colors, there's different shades. The main colors is brown and green. And so the brown is like it can vary in shades from a light beige all the way down to a deep reddish kind of terracotta like brown, right? When they harvest and clean the sea moss, they will separate the sea moss into the different shades of colors. The really dark sea moss goes in one pile. The light sea moss goes into another pile, and they do the same with the green. Or even typically the green, they just keep it all one area, right? The dark colored sea moss they use to make the purple sea moss, right? And how they do that is they basically clean the sea moss and then they hang it up to dry. But they hang it up in the shade. They don't hang it up in the direct sun. When they make the gold sea moss, what they do is they basically put it out into the hot sun, and they actually cover it with a plastic tarp, right? And then plastic tarp creates a little bit of heat and concentrates the sun's energy into the sea moss. And what happens is it turns white, right? Turns like a bright white, like paper white. And and this is the gold that I'm talking about. Turns a bright white, and then it as it dries, it goes from a light gold, sort of like this, to a dark gold. And even this color can sometimes be determined by the original color of the sea moss. So dark sea mosses, and that's part of the reason why they separate the dark sea moss to the light sea moss, because the dark sea moss, if you try to bleach it in the sun, it will come a darker brown when it's dried. And it makes better purple than it does make the bleached gold. So that's why they kind of separate the colors, and that's what they do. And with the green, they do the same thing as the purple. They just kind of dry it in the shade. And if you look on my Instagram account, you'll see videos of them kind of drying it in, outside, but in the shade, and the various colors from you know the dark brown, purplish to the green. Now, the full spectrum is an interesting situation, right? It's a lot of times how they end up coming with this full spectrum, although it's changing now because there's more demand for full spectrum.